Hello, welcome. In this lecture, we're going to talk about the concept that is equality as justice. Now, here we're going to study two very important concepts, equality and justice. We'll be talking about a number of philosophers under these two important concepts, and we'll understand equality as justice as to what it means. So, let's get started. You see, if we try to consider the relationship between these two, that is equality and justice, what do we understand? We understand that there is no one single interpretation understanding these two, that is equality and justice. To give you an example, let's say equality and justice. So, like I said, different philosophers have different interpretations on the understanding of equality and justice. And since they have different interpretations on it, of course, it will lead to different conclusions as well. So, let's start with somebody who is regarded as one of the most important socio-political thinkers. I'm talking about Aristotle. Now, what did Aristotle say? Aristotle has basically said that justice is what? Justice is in treating equals equally and unequals unequally, right? Justice is treating in equals as equally and unequals as unequally. Now, before we start to decide the course of justice in a given situation, we have to first ascertain what we have to ascertain as who here are equals and who here are unequals, right? Who here are equals and who here are unequals. Now, let's talk about how Aristotle understands it, okay? Aristotle himself has warned that those who are equals, okay, they are equal, let's say, in one respect, okay? Since they are equal in one respect, they would want that, they should be regarded as equals in all respects, right? They should be regarded as equals in all respects. What am I saying here? Let me give you a very simple example. The example here is India. India has its what? Citizens. Now let's say this is citizen 1, this is citizen 2, this is citizen 3, 4 and 5. Now in terms of the citizenship, 1 to 5, all these are equals, right? Why? Because they are the citizens. So their basic political rights, for instance, the fundamental rights, for instance, let's say the fundamental duties, the right to vote, all of these are something which is going to belong equally to 1, equally to 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? But now let's say this one person here is wealthy, right? This one person here is wealthy. This 2 is also wealthy, but not as much. Not as much. And let's say these 3, 4 and 5 are belonging to the, let's say, middle class. Now, are they equal? The question is, are they equal now? So this is the example that I want to discuss with you. Aristotle basically says that those who are regarded equal in one respect, they like to be treated as equals in all the other respects. Okay. So when, for instance, 3, 4 and 5 are not as privileged, not as wealthy, right? They are entitled to, or rather, what they will think is that these 3, 4, and 5 will think that they are equally entitled to what? Equally entitled to the benefits that are available with citizen 1 and citizen 2, right? So when they fail to get these privileges, for instance 3, 4 and 5, when they fail to get into the position of the citizen 1 and 2, please remember this with the example of the citizens that I'm giving you, because in here this is a very good example and will help you in the exam for the simple reason that we've firstly taken all of these are equal. So in that sense, they are what equals here. But if we go into the totality of it, for instance, if we bring in, social economic aspects or spheres as well, then they are not equals. Okay, and this is how Aristotle basically wants us to understand this. He's saying when 3, 4, and 5 are not getting those privileges, that is when they fail to get those privileges, they will for sure have a sense of deprivation, or they will think what they will think that justice is not being met, right? Justice is not being met, or justice is not being done. So what will happen in these? They will have a sense of injustice, right? Which eventually will result in what? Which eventually will result in a rebellion. It will, it will lead to anger. It will lead to, disorder. It will lead to, it will basically disrupt the harmony, right? So this is what you need to understand. The concept of equality as justice. We are understanding the concept of equality with this particular example.